Greetings, survivors and friends. SHADOWFRAX here, and I've got some very big news for you. That's right, I'm pregnant. No, actually, not that big, but still pretty huge, because in case the info hasn't dribbled down to you yet through other channels, there's one question that you can finally stop asking me now. Namely, will Rust be coming to console? Because in the last 24 hours, it was indeed announced that Rust will be coming to both PS4 and Xbox One in 2020. Now, I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions about this, many of which I can already guess, and I'd love to read all your initial thoughts in the comments, but for answers at the moment, I'm going to direct you to a dedicated page on FacePunch's website, which will be updated with all the relevant info as it becomes available, and the link will be down below. It's not that I don't want to tell you more, but I respect that the info will have to come from FacePunch when they're ready. In the meantime, it's best not to jump to any conclusions about the details, of course. You're not, are you? You are, aren't you? Yeah. However, I will keep you informed of anything new on this via my weekly updates, so make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on in case they actually work. It's quite cathartic for me to get this off my chest though, because I've had to keep my hooves sealed about it for a while. And talking of which, I will be uploading another related video a couple of hours after this one, which you won't want to miss. In short, I was asked to produce a video for the annual Inside Xbox show, X019, which will be played there today, to introduce a console audience to the wholesome experience we know as Rust, and I'll be able to let you watch it here later, so stay tuned. What I want to know from you in the meantime though is, now the console horse is officially out of the information stable, what do you think of this news? Is it what you were expecting or not? Are you happy now? Or are you experiencing some other emotion? What are your predictions for Rust in 2020? Let me know please in the comments. So this may be the biggest news of the year so far, but there are of course other development stories this week, and first, yet another fix that will hopefully spark joy. Over on Staging Branch, batteries will now finally retain their charge when you pick them up, opening the way to portable power, and I think this can only be construed as a positive. There were a couple of fixes to switches too, for them having invisible lights when off and showing power when none was being received. Last week I mentioned network visibility, which was adjusted to ensure bases don't suddenly burst into existence in front of you when travelling at speed in a minicopter, say. Well, this week it has been increased further from 64 meters to 128 in order to give enough warning to pilots of upcoming SAM sites, which could still put a crimp on their day. Also on Staging, a new copy text option was added to the pop-up in the chat UI, which will now allow you to save a player's words of wisdom to the clipboard for future reference. There were various other small fixes, plus further to last week's new cinematic features, a couple more debug camera commands, including camzoomspeed and camlookspeed were added. In addition, debug camera autosave and load can now be written to the config, and debug camera preserve will allow you to resume from the last known camera position when rejoining a server, and can also be written to the config. I'll put these in the description for you as well. Horses, being the intrepid explorers that we are, have been spotted recently in a number of exotic locations, leaving some scratching their heads and others in awe of our agility. Seems though that a potential fix for errant equines is on Staging now, so they may soon become a bit more grounded. Talking of which, they should also behave themselves better on rocky surfaces and navigate small cliffs instead of getting stuck. Also, in performance, improvements are being tested on a branch called Monument Optimization Test, which I don't think I need to explain too much about, and Gary is working on a branch called Better Bundles, which seem to be concentrated on how assets are loaded. More on these when they come to fruition. Over in Works in Progress, vehicles are still a major focus, with one of the latest commits showing that engine performance will degrade with the health of the vehicle. So true to life. In concert with this, instruments are receiving a noteworthy amount of fine-tuning too, as this video from Instagram shows. Looks like the xylobone currently doubles up as a form of bobsleigh. And finally, two intriguing comments, sadly without visuals as yet. Firstly, a jumpsuit, and secondly, a spacesuit. Now, I'm not saying this means we'll be boldly going anywhere beyond the island, or even that it's something we'll end up wearing, or indeed just going to the toilet in. I'll give you the lowdown when I find out, of course, but what are your initial thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to stay tuned for another video later today, or maybe it's already up and there'll be a link on the screen shortly for you. Leave a like and subscribe to support this channel if you'd be so kind. You can watch me live on Twitch 3 times a week, plus follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Discord and my Steam group for notifications. Also, please consider supporting me on Patreon as this YouTube lark is getting tighter. I shall catch you all soon, of course, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio. That's right. I'm pregnant.